Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday morning business training. And it's February 1st, a new day. And we have a little announcement because on our director's call yesterday, we had kind of a unanimous consensus that maybe we should modify this call a little bit. So I just want to let you know, we have special guests. Judy and Ravel and Carl are going to be doing a training for the first half hour on network marketing etiquette. And for those of you that would like to stick around after that, we're going to start doing a 30-minute open business Q&A on the second half of this call. So it's going to go from 30-minute chat to a 30-minute training and a 30-minute Q&A. So I'm going to turn the first half hour over to Judy and her qualified team to talk about network marketing etiquette. And then at the half hour mark, when you're done, Judy, I'll kind of take it back over and walk us through our first Thursday morning Q&A. And you're muted, Judy. So unmute, please.
Thank you. What a brilliant idea you had to habit stack. So after our presentation, our business trainings on Thursday morning, I love how you habit stack. We'll just get in the habit of, after the call, if we have business questions, to stick around. Just pure, sheer genius, Gregory. Thank you for all the ideas you bring to Live Younger and for being the captain of our ship and teaching us all how to sail. It's wonderful. This morning, network marketing etiquette. But before we begin with that, I'd like to bring on Ravel. Are you there, Ravel?
Yes.
So Gregory, can you have both of us up, both Ravel and I? Please.
You're muted, Gregory.
Yeah, if you could raise your hand, Ravel, and make me easy to. There you are.
Okay,
I'll
great.
promote you out too.
Sure.
Okay.
We want to highlight Ravel. She adds so much to every call she's ever on. So I'm still waiting.
And
I'm sorry. Let me just raise the hand there.
Okay, good.
Okay. And let me spotlight you. Add the spotlight on Ravel. There we go.
Beautiful. All right. Well, Ravel, I thank you so much for offering to bring a segue to the beginning of our Live Younger chat. We missed our Atomic Habit book club on last Monday for good reasons, yay vision. And this Monday coming up, we're going into the third law. And you had a wonderful idea you wanted to bring forward about habit stacking. And it relates to, I believe, the second law. So thank you. Over to you.
Sure, Judy. I wasn't aware of moderating, but thought I would say just a couple of minutes here. As you know, Judy, I'm a very strong advocate of Gregory Mascari's daily method of operation. I would not have been able to earn the income I'm earning and growing income without engaging in the daily method of operation. I'm very grateful for that. And something that you had shared in the last week really struck me, and that was that I wish I had wrote it down verbatim, but something to the effect that a major success factor in this business rests on our ability to pique interest. You had said that, Judy. And it helped me understand a bit more. When faced with reading books, I tend to scoff at the idea that it might be just a lot of theory and how can I apply this? And of course, Robin Blanc-Mascari has been really stressing the importance of applying what we learn. And the previous presenters of James Clear's Atomic Habits did such an effective job in demonstrating how they apply it in their lives. And a piece in this book, page 106, it says that in the second law, as you mentioned, Judy, it mentions that in how to make a habit irresistible, that it's the anticipation of reward not the fulfillment of it that gets us to take action. And I thought about that in the context of the prospect or the friend that we're sharing the gift of LifeWave with. It says on page 108 that your brain has far more neural activity allocated for wanting rewards rather than liking them. And it's 100% of neural circuitry is activated during wanting, but only 10% of the structure is activated during liking. And that helped me understand more when you said that it's so important in terms of being successful at this business in terms of our ability to pique interest. And as we know, that's after step one of the daily method of operation, shown so clearly at liveyoungersuccess.com in the 1, 2, 3 go. It shows their peak interest, and there's even certain words that we can say to pique interest. So I love the simplicity of that. And it helped me understand too why when folks want to do sampling, and of course, a lot of people and successful people don't wish to use sampling. I tend to pique someone's interest to watch a video, to encourage them to watch it. It helps me explain why one sample after they watch an In Touch app video or see liveyounger.com is more effective than more than one sample, which was counterintuitive to me. You know, why is it that I'd give people a week's supply or 3 weeks, that one sample was more effective? You know, with the comment that you probably won't feel a thing. And it helps me understand that, to marry the theory with the actual practice, that helps me understand it better. So thank you for mentioning that it's so important to our ability to pique interest, and that our success lies with that. And just to sum it up, you know, I love that notion that it's not necessarily the activity that we want to be duplicatable, because within the confines of the daily method of operation, as Robin and Gregory have stated, people like to build their business in different ways. So a person can talk to 2 or 3 people using different methods, but it's the results that we want to be duplicatable. We want others to earn income, growing income, and consistent income. And so just a couple of ideas there. Thank you so much, Judy, for this very important topic, and for stressing the importance of you know, being exposed, training, reading, or listening to network marketing material daily. That's it.
It's a pleasure knowing you and working with you, Ravel. Thank you for that. Could we bring the famous Carl Krebs on? The man who volunteered me to do network marketing etiquette this morning, and was kind enough to call me after and say, I'll collaborate with you. Thank you so much, Carl. So is there anything you would like to say to introduce yourself before I bring up the slideshow that we have for everyone?
Well, I am going to confess that I did have a hand in corralling you into this, because you spoke so eloquently about it on the director's call. I says, this is the lady to do it. And then, of course, my conscience wouldn't let me let go of it. So I had to call you up and say, I'm in it with you too. And I was happy to see Ravel as well. So looking forward to doing this presentation with you for the benefit of ourselves and for our whole group. So
Wonderful.
You can fire away with the slideshow.
Okay, well, network marketing is all about teamwork, isn't it, Carl? It's not a solo adventure.
No, it certainly is. You know, that adage that we like to say, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. It's true. And of course, the foundation of our business is people. So etiquette is certainly one of those things we want to address here. And what you're seeing there is a Merriam-Webster kind of explanation of what etiquette is. And it is important. It establishes a set of social norms and expectations that help us to interact with each other in an appropriate manner. And there's a little bit more that I want to flesh out behind that. So why is this important? Because it provides a framework for courteous and respectful behavior. It helps us prevent from misunderstandings, conflicts, and social awkwardness. And that it creates a decorum of professionalism that we need. So having good etiquette shows respect for others and their cultures, values, beliefs. and we're mindful of other people's feelings and beliefs and expectations, so that we can create that positive and harmonious relationships that we're looking for. And of course, this business is all about relationships. So that's why etiquette is important. So looking at the just pan the camera out a little bit and look at the broad scope. That's kind of the broad scope of etiquette, sort of the 30,000-foot view. And hopefully by the end of this, we're going to target it specifically to our group and our product and our marketing efforts. So if by way of example, cross-cultural etiquette is certainly there. We know that, saying please and thank you are important parts of etiquette. That, always greeting people with a smile and hello, being respectful of personal space of people. These are all cross-cultural etiquettes. But then let's narrow that camera lens down a little bit more and talk about network marketing etiquette. And in this way, we want to be sure that we're practicing good etiquette, because we're in a culture, we're in a group, we're in a community where we're coaching and mentoring. So of course, we're both coach and student at different times. So we want to demonstrate that. And in network marketing, such things as being a good listener, for example, we talked about that when we were talking about John Maxwell's book, and we're talking about better listening. Of course, we listen to respond, we listen to understand, but we want to listen to empathize with the people. And so when we're practicing this good etiquette, we are then offering this gift of hope, which is in the form of a patch. And I always say our patches are an example of hope that works itself out in a patch. So etiquette is important in network marketing, absolutely.
And I heard a definition of hope once. Hope is the belief that the future will change for the better, whether it's your health or your wealth. And when hope dies, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly.
Yes.
Over to you, Carl.
So here again, we do exist in relationships. So as I mentioned just a few seconds ago, using proper greetings when we talk to people that are both in our group and ones that we're hoping to bring into our group. And I think punctuality is a proper etiquette, that we be not late on calls or failure to make those calls when we say they would. And even yesterday, Judy and I had a good example of that. We were trying to key up a meeting and we kept bouncing it back and forth, and we adjusted the time, but we were always in communication with each other. So we had respect for each other's time. So this is how punctuality works itself out, I think, in etiquette. And staying in touch, of course, is very important. You're not going to build that relationship just think of your normal relationships. They fly or they falter based on the level and the frequency of staying in touch with people. So we can't be afraid not to make those calls that might be difficult, because they're growing and learning opportunities. For example, when someone maybe isn't getting the results that they're getting, we need to walk into that. We need to embrace it and work with them to hopefully get a result for that. So, and giving the person you're talking to your full attention means putting aside your cell phone, put aside all the notifications that are popping up, wherever they're popping up, and focus on them, because they're going to want to know. And each of us want to know that we are important, that we are recognized, that we're being understood, and that we're getting the full attention of whoever is talking to us. So another vital point of good etiquette is giving that person your full attention.
I love that, Carl.
Over to you, Judy.
Because we all want to know that we're appreciated, we're loved, we're part of the family.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to let you go on with this one, Judy, if you want, because that was something you were working on, and I might chime in just a little later on.
Well, I first of all, I just had down and up for the title, and then I suddenly thought down, up, and inside out. So in network marketing, you're driving the truck, so you know all about the rules of the road, Carl. You know, red light means we stop. Green light means we go. We're polite. We put on our left turn or our right signal. We all understand the rules of the road and allows us to have an easy flow most of the time. And so this down, up, and inside out is all about understand that we're all on the same page. We all have sort of the same road rules. And one of the most essential ones, I believe, is that good news flows downstream. You know, our excitement, our enthusiasm, what's working, share that. Something a video you love, keep that good news flowing downstream. It's like the beautiful rain, you know, or the sunshine coming down upon us. And then disappointments and challenges go upstream. Talk to your sponsor if you're having a challenge with something. You know, otherwise, you know, do the people downstream from you need to know your personal challenges? No, it's that sponsor. It's a relationship with your sponsor that really matters. And sometimes your sponsor will bring somebody else in, or Robin, you're just amazing about helping me with technical challenges. I appreciate you so much, and you, Gregory. So it used to be good news up, bad news down. But now there's such a touchiness around vocabulary, which is the reality right now, that the word down doesn't have a good connotation for some people, and the up, they don't like the up and the, you know, so I thought downstream, upstream, and it's the disappointments and challenges. And Jim Rohn, here's the inside out. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you will make a fortune. And Robin, you and I spoke this morning, and you said you were ready, willing, and able to jump in whenever you have a story you'd like to tell. So please feel free at any point to jump in. And Anne, you were talking about network marketing etiquette yesterday. You're welcome. Jump in. So down, up, and inside out.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, there's a lot of people that come into our business that have never been in this business model. And so these basic foundation that Judy and Carl are talking about, and thank you, Ravel, too. You always add so much. You know, I came across something yesterday when I was speaking to one of our teammates, and someone cross the line was recruiting her in another business. And I kind of went, uh-oh. And most people don't know that if you want to share any other kind of opportunity that is going to distract someone in another direction that is an income producing activity, the only people you can talk to are people you personally sponsored. Because if you sponsor someone and you want to share something else with them and they love it, it's going to distract them from the current business. And you're responsible. But if someone else does it and they take their energy and time away, we got a problem. We got a problem. And so it's really important to understand it is grounds for termination. So if you're really excited about something, make sure that you honor, this is in the policies and procedures. And a lot of people really have never read the policies and procedures. I don't know how many pages it is these days, but it's a lot.
I haven't.
I bet Ravel has, though.
Yeah, right.
You know, she's our master of the details, which we are so grateful for.
I've written them when I was a vice president of sales for another company, but you know,
So,
it's not something I suggest everyone sit down and read
Yeah.
cover to cover.
yeah,
But to know the general, as Robin's saying, there's general etiquette and principles that we must, you know, work within. And the line of sponsorship is sacred. And we're developing these beautiful, as you know, as Helen likes to say, cross-line cousins, these wonderful relationships. But you don't want to distract someone from someone else's business. And that's what Robin's saying.
right.
You don't
And
really have the right to do that.
you don't. And most people innocently
Don't
now,
know.
now I know of a product that could literally change people's lives. And, you know, and I want to share and I can't. And so if it's someone, you know, we used to be with a a product that was mental health. And so it was really important. And if it's someone's second level, I'll ask permission, and it's okay to do that, but we don't want to promote that. We want to stay focused on taking care of your personal people and making sure that people understand to protect your front line. Okay.
Back to you, Judy.
Thank you, Robin, for
Carl.
well, could just add something here in front of Judy, I love what you said, protecting our members. And the analogy came to me, and of course it comes from my faith background, that we are the shepherd tending to our flock, and we need to care for that flock, because they are vulnerable. There are, there can be intrusions made, there can be distractions that take them away from where they need to be focused. So it is important to keep watch. And we do it in our chat. We are very restrictive on what people can post in our chat room, but extremely important to care for the people, all of the people that are in your group. Judy?
Beautiful, beautiful. And teamwork does make the dream work. Use three-way calls, and with a three-way call, you want to introduce and edify your sponsor first. By edify, you just say what the person is doing with the business, their knowledge about the patches, a reason to make your sponsor stand out, because your guest has no idea who your sponsor is. So you want to edify them, not exaggerate. Then you introduce your guest, and the order for that is that when you introduce your guest, you're going to be putting in some little, Susan lives in, Florida. Oh, and then your sponsor can pick up from that thing. Oh, you live in Florida, whereabouts in Florida. And so that order makes a lot of sense. And then your role, after you introduce, edify, is you listen and you learn. It's a two-way conversation between your sponsor and your guest to build that relationship. And of course, be sure to acknowledge everybody at the end and say thank you, et cetera, et cetera. And when you have a question, this is new for a lot of people. You reach out to your sponsor first, then their sponsor, and then their sponsor's sponsor. And the reason for that is you might see your sponsor's sponsor a lot on the calls. And you say, oh boy, they know everything. I want to work with that person. If everybody thinks like that, this poor old sponsor will never get anything done. So you reach out to your sponsor first. If your sponsor doesn't know the answer, they can say, I don't know the answer, I'll go find out. Or if your sponsor is not available for whatever reason, then call their sponsor. And it's just that kind of sense of order, like I talked about on the road. And then show you care. Carl, why don't you do the ones you want to do, and I'll fill in any you don't. Although I know you'd
Absolutely.
love it.
Just to your last point there, in following that natural established etiquette of chain, it's important because, and I know Robin taught me this a while ago, is that when we're going to go to a person that we didn't personally sponsor, we want to involve the sponsor of that person too, to make sure that they're informed about what it is you're saying or going to do with their downline. It is a respect for the sponsor, and it's good that we have that cohesiveness, that we're all talking the same language. So on this one, it is important that we care. We know the adage, I don't even need to repeat it, about how people know you care. And we need to ask the questions, and we need to listen. And listening, as I said a moment ago, happens on three different fronts. And we need to listen to hear those needs. And then I think one of the best phrases that establishes good etiquette is when we don't help, is to ask that person, help me understand what that means. Speak a little bit more, to ask the questions. It's so important to ask more questions and make less statements. That is good etiquette, because in asking the question, I'm getting that person to engage with me. And it's only in the listening that we can learn. It's not in the talking. Then we're telling them. We need to listen.
And Carl,
And
I
of
want
course-
to jump. Oh, go ahead. I thought you were done. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, the next one I'm going to do, and then I'd love you to jump in, Robin, is let the tools do the talking. We have, because of the framework that has been laid down in this group, we have immense resources. We can always point to a tool. And I'm a big believer that if I were to give it to them, served up on a platter. What did they learn? I want to take them to that back office area. I want to take them to Live Younger Success or any of the other great websites that we have and say, here's where you find it. So that next time a similar question arises, they're already attuned to, hey, it might be there. You bet it will be there. It's probably there. And so we want to equip them that way. That's, again, that etiquette of teaching them and pointing to the tools that we have. Over to you,
Beautiful.
Robin.
And
Yeah,
Robin,
thank,
I'll
yeah.
I'll just read this thing in total and turn it over to you. Ask questions, listen for needs, start solving, stop selling. Over to you,
Beautiful.
Robin.
Well, Carol, you brought up a great piece about communication. And in our business, that is something we want to be really, really good at. So when I'm working with someone's downline, like Carol says, I include their sponsor because it's for a few reasons. One, it's more efficient because if I don't, I have to tell the sponsor what happened on the call, but you can't ever fully verbalize what happened on the call. But if I'm sending an email, I will copy the sponsor. If I'm working with someone, so communication is really, really important that you include the sponsor if you're working with someone. And when I do coaching calls, I have them on the, I won't do, and Carol knows this, I won't do a coaching call without having the sponsor on the line. And because it's, you know, I want it becomes a learning for everybody. So the communication piece, and we're going to be doing a lot more of that throughout the year, is adding more about how healthy communication in a team works. And we've covered a lot of those pieces today. So thank you for bringing that up, Carol and Judy.
And I see that Anne's got her hand up, Anne Moreau.
Yes,
can you
yay,
chime in?
Anne. Wonderful, wonderful. I was hoping you could join us.
Well, I just
Thanks,
wanted
Robin.
to add to what, this is a really wonderful call because all of it, what you covered, Judy, and I love Robin does such a beautiful job with modeling this behavior. But I just wanted to add that we do on our team a lot of text messaging, and that's more popular now than ever before. And sometimes we include, you know, the third party. So etiquette in texting is also very, very important. So, you know, if you're going to be adding your upline on a text message, then remember to also, you know, introduce him or her, whoever it is, that and really edify them and let them know who they are so that the person on the text thread understands, and then you introduce the other person as well. And I like to have that individual share, you know, their journey with whoever's on the call so that they have some idea of what's going on between, you know, between them. And then that really creates an atmosphere of everybody understanding, you know, what this text message is all about. So we just have to remember to always, you know, honor the people that are on. And you've all talked about that. I think it's so important. And I want to say something about hope because I was talking to somebody just last week who said to me, I just have lost all my hope. And, you know, all of us that are on this call need to understand what we have here is simply amazing. And being able to help people to get out of pain, for example, or, you know, create an income that will help them move forward and offer them hope. And, you know, this discussion that I had with this woman, she said, you know, for the first time in almost 2 years, I have hope. And there's nothing that's more rewarding than hearing that from somebody, that we as a community can do that for people. It's simply amazing. And one more thing that I just want to pipe in about, and that is, you know, gifting the one patch, because Ron Rabin, for those of you who have never heard him speak, that is where he built a huge business. And he is a chimney sweep, and he always used one patch. And he has built a tremendous, you know, business for himself. So there was a lot of nuggets in this call. So thank you all for sharing.
Well, thank you for offering your wisdom, and Robin. There's a book called, I don't know if you can see it, maybe not.
Yeah, that looks good.
Your First Year in Network Marketing by the Yarnells. And after my morning cup of coffee, I habit stack. Well, during my cup of coffee or tea, I habit stack and I read 2 minutes from this book, and I just open it up and I read it. And I usually end up reading for 15 minutes, but that habit stacking has changed my life in so many ways. Why I'm mentioning this book right now relates to what you said, Anne, about hope, because he told a story in this book about a couple that worked for 4 or 5 years trying to build a network marketing business and nothing worked. They went to every convention and meeting looking for the secret. They heard that the top earner in their company was going to be speaking at this particular event. They went, they managed to wiggle their way up to the front of the room, to learn the secret, and they were able to talk to him. So how did you build such a big business? And he said, well, I just gave the gift away. You'll have to talk to people in my organization, my downline. Here are a couple of names. So they went to those people. They said, well, I think you'll really have to talk to the people in my organization, because all we do is give the gift. And it went all the way down, and they suddenly realized it's about giving the gift of hope. They didn't say hope, but giving the gift of hope that the future can change for the better, whether it's health or wealth. And finally, we come back to etiquette. Etiquette is important because it establishes a set of social norms and expectations that help individuals interact with each other in a respectful, considerate, and appropriate manner. And with our network marketing etiquette coming from love and kindness, it just takes us right back to David Schmidt at Vision, how he closed the conference. If ever the world was in need of love and light, it's now. So let's spread the love and the light. Over to you, Gregory. Carl, thank you. Ravel, thank you. Robin, thank you. Anne, thank you. Everybody, thank you.
Yeah, Carl, do you have
My
any
pleasure.
closing
Just-
comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Gregory. This hope thing, and we've focused on it a lot today, and I came across a saying that really spoke to my heart. And everything about what we're doing has to be communicated out of our heart. Our heart is really the epicenter of who we really are. And we're going to do a talk in our group on our first Tuesday called Matters of the Heart. And I think it's going to be very thought-provoking because, hope exists in your heart. People die of a broken heart. A surgeon can fix and repair a heart, but only God can heal a heart. And when we talk about hope, how important is it? Here's how I would like to say it. Hope is that you can live in abject poverty with hope, but you can't live in a mansion without hope. That's how
Beautiful.
important hope is to all of us. And when people come to the end, and when the doctor says, I'm sorry, Mr. or Mrs., there's nothing else I can do, their hope fades like a daylily. It's just withering. And we come in and we say, are you ready to try something with proven results backed by science? We offer hope. And I say love and light and hope. My gosh, we've got what the world's looking for. So let's do it in that loving, caring, proper etiquette way. We're all teachers, we're all students in this group. And I'm so thankful to be a part of it. And God bless you all. And thank you for allowing me to participate in this call this morning.
Oh, well, thank you for volunteering, Carl. Your enthusiasm, your passion, your heart, your ideas. You just made this come alive. So thank you so very much. Gregory?
Well, beautiful. Well, thank you, Judy. Thank you, Carl. Thanks, Ravel, Robin, and thanks everyone for being on this call. And it's just, this is one of the, magical pieces of our business. This is relationship marketing, and relationships are built best when you understand and apply basic concepts of etiquette, love, light, and hope. So this is just one of the best calls ever. So thank you guys. What a beautiful job. And I know everybody else probably feels the same. And as we discussed at the beginning of the call, we're going to open it up for Q&A now. So if you have any questions for Judy or Carl relevant, let's start out with, questions relevant to this wonderful content that they labored together and created for us and shared today. And then we'll open it up for just some general Q&A after that. So if you've got a question, just go ahead and raise your hand and we'll call on you in that order.
before people jump in, I thank you so much for bringing hope, because it's like, what business are we in? We're in the business of hope. And it dawned on me that yesterday I talked to two people's downline and gave them hope. And it wasn't from me so much as what happened in the situation. I was able to connect them with whatever. And I realized, oh my goodness. And then I immediately reached out to the upline to let them know what I was doing. And so it's really important, but hope is juice, it's life, and it's where people change. And I think so many people on this call, this was an answer to a prayer and hope that the future could be different. So I'm so glad you brought that up. All right, questions. Who's got questions?
Can be about, well,
If you have questions about network marketing, great. If you don't have questions about the topic this morning, this is for business questions about anything. Where do I find this? What's this? You know, that's what we're here for. And we want to have this be a really dynamic situation where, you know, sometimes you just can't reach someone. You got a silly little question. I get texts all the time. There are no silly questions.
And before, thank you,
I
Linda, thank you,
agree.
Lavelle, for raising your hand. Before you do, I do want to make an announcement. I forgot that, you know, we've had a good response for our new Live Younger patch chat. Thank you, somebody. People are getting confused and are asking business questions. And we wanted that to be questions about the product. Somebody says, well, why don't you rename it Patch Chat? And I thought, well, that makes total sense. So if you notice, when you go to Live Younger Facebook, you'll see up in the over in the left column, you know, if you click on chats, you'll see Live Younger Patch Chat. And that kind of tells, oh, that's where I ask questions about the patches, about the product. But then, you know, we got this brainstorm. It says, well, maybe we need one that says Live Younger Business Chat. So as of last night, we opened up another chat line. So, our goal and the company's goal is to increase meaningful communication between each of us, between the company and us, and between upline, downline. You know, meaningful communication is a foundation of a successful relationship. I think we'd all agree on that, especially those of us been married for any period of time, right? So, meaningful communication is very important. And so it's just another way. So every Thursday morning, you can bring your questions to the Q&A. And if you can't get to questions, and thanks for pointing it out, Judy, thanks for pointing it out. It is good for first go to your sponsor, try and get your questions answered by the people that have a vested interest in your success. Because if you succeed, they succeed. Every time you sell or buy something that makes some money, so they are your paid support system. Your crossline cousins, well, they're here to help. We're all here to help each other, but they don't make anything when they're helping you. But that's just part of the loving portion of our community. So, first, when you have a question, reach up. Second, you could come to this Thursday morning Q&A. Third, we now have Live Younger Business Chat. And the guidelines for this new business chat is, be brief in your questions, be brief in your answers, and let's just run with it and see how it goes. But I just turned it on last night, so it's there for our use. So with that being said, thanks everyone, and good morning, Linda.
Hello there.
There you go.
Yes,
Hi.
I unmuted. I'm from Kansas in the Kansas City area, and I'm sure a lot of other people kind of have this question. It's an etiquette question regarding LifeWave. We have several different groups in this area, and there's a lot of people that see what our group does, because we do offer meetings where we have doctors there and they can actually come in and talk to the MDs, that type of thing. And a lot of people like that, and we're very open with everybody on that. However, we've got people coming from the other teams asking to join our team. How do we handle that?
Judy, Carl. Or I'll
I
take
can address that actually, Gregory.
Oh,
really
Ravel, there
quickly.
you go. Yeah, thank you.
It's a really good question because it's come up before, and the challenge is, even if answering a question according to the policies, that can be construed as enticing, and so it's really not. It's really frowned upon by the company to engage in another individual that is already in LifeWave and wants to move. So that's kind of an overview in a nutshell. I don't have more detail than that, but hopefully that helps.
Yeah, I'll jump in on it. I think that, it's like I love, thanks again, Helen, the Crossline cousins. We're all cousins, all part of Lifeway, but the line of sponsorship is sacred. And just because one of your kids goes over to someone else's house and has more fun there than at your house doesn't mean they can move in, because they're yours, And so we always honor lines of sponsorship, and you let people say, the company really frowns on that. That's impossible. You can't change sponsors, but you're welcome to come and, and share with us. And I do encourage, if there's any expense, that people pay their fair share, especially, sometimes we do people do free events for their own downline because you get paid on them. But when you start attracting other people, the other people from crosslines should be contributing something if there's an expense for the meeting room and such. So it's very okay, to have a nominal fee for an event. And, we like to say, $10, $15, guests are free, that kind of thing. But does that help?
Gregory, would
Yeah.
you address the tribal nature of the business and training in your specific organization? Because I got a tough learning on that one early on. Training
Yeah.
someone outside of my team because I was just trying to help, and boy, it didn't. It was challenging. So would you share about that? Because that's a big one for people.
I think tribal is a good word because I think by nature we're kind of tribal. We are. And so, everybody, there's different tribes within the LifeWave unified nation. Okay. There's all these different tribes, within Robin and my group, we have lots of different tribes, and we honor those tribes. We love and respect the people that are in those tribes, but we don't promote our structure, strategy, method of operation to them unless that's something that their tribal leader is also doing. So it's important to honor, the line of sponsorship and recognize the tribal nature, and different groups sometimes do things different ways. And there's many ways to skin a cat. I don't think you should ever skin a cat, but there's many roads to the mountain's top, right? And people are in different, they have different approaches, and that's the beauty of our business. This is, entrepreneurial paradise. There's no one way. There's one goal, and that's enhancing and, and extending lives, instilling hope. But so I hope that helps. So, be respectful of, the crossline tribes and methods of operation, but we're all in this together. We're not warring tribes. We're friendly tribes.
And I'd love to.
Greg,
Oops. Go ahead.
after you, Robin.
Well, I just wanted to add to what you just said, Gregory, and to also be respectful, that brought up, of people's time. It's our
Mhm.
most precious resource. So
Yeah.
reaching out to someone crossline that has, it's fine to help other people, but not to take up a lot of their time. So when people say, well, what doctors do we have? Reach out to a doctor that's in your upline. Our sponsor is Dr. Nicholas. If you want to reach out to another doctor, you want to set up a consult with them and pay them. That is their profession. If you want to have a question, because a lot of people go to other people's trainings. I mean, they search out who's growing the fastest and they go to their trainings, and all that's fine, but be really respectful of not taking up the time of that team with your situation, because it's not respectful to take up their time if you're not in their downline.
Well said.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I think the corporate culture with the headhunters, it's a business now. You go out headhunting, and literally you're trying to entice somebody from one company to leave and go to another company. So it's become part of our society now. And innocently, people probably think it's the same thing with network marketing. A beautiful example of how distinct the business models actually are, plus the culture. And I see a couple of hands up.
Yeah. Yeah, Lavelle, I think you're first. Go ahead, please.
Hey Gregory. Hey everybody. Yeah. First I want to say thanks for these calls. And I want to acknowledge a couple of my directors on here. My wife and I as directors, a couple of pastors. Actually, Pastor Dominic Frank is on out of California, and Pastor Helen White is out of I think Orlando. And I just want to say, Gregory, when I first got involved in network marketing, um, and the guy said he made $250,000 in a month. I asked him how'd he do that, and he said, "Well, don't miss anything. Sit up front, pay attention, take the notes. In other words, be a good student." Now, from your perspective, Gregory, what would you add to that?
Be here a year from now.
Don't quit.
Absolutely.
Don't
Don't
quit.
quit. Yeah.
And another question I like to ask: well, a person that maybe has stepped away from the network, from our business or something, or to restart, what would you what kind of what would you say to that person to get back into their groove and get back into the rhythm? What would you say?
Well, I'll share briefly what I would say. I think it's important to stay connected with people, and the frequency of connection is dependent on their level of commitment. And if they've kind of fallen off the wagon, so to say, or if they've kind of gone on to pause mode, pause doesn't mean not ever again, just mean maybe not now. And just a friendly connect, say, hey, just checking in, see how you're doing. And oh my God, the company just had this Vision 2024 event. It was a virtual event. And oh my Lord, express enthusiasm, excitement. If you have any interest in getting restarted or trying, blah, 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 some engagement. Again, as Carl was saying, let people know you care. And but don't be pushy, be loving and sharing.
Lead with love, absolutely.
Lead
And
with
the,
love.
the best thing about network marketing is
Lavelle,
Uh-huh.
I'm just aware that we have 3 more people who have questions, and we're at about the 10
11
minute,
minutes.
11
take it
minutes.
away. Take it away. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your questions. I learned a lot from the answers. And I love your heart. It just, just shines through our calls. All right. So I'm not sure, Gregory, which of the 3 hands were up in which order. Did you notice?
Oh, you can't tell if you look at
Christine.
in the chat function there, they maintain their order.
Oh,
Not in the chat, in the participant function, but it's Christine.
okay.
Hi, how are you? Good morning.
Good
Great.
morning.
Hear me okay? So one of the things that I do when I have people that they flounder around and they get something, but because they don't live near me, they live in another state,
Mhm.
a state of anxiety. No, I'm just kidding. And I'm trying to help them. And so one of the ways I help them is I try to find a video for them so they can know how to use the patches and be more effective, because sometimes they don't follow directions, or maybe I don't even know exactly, because apparently patching is an art and it's different for lots of people. So what one person does, another person doesn't necessarily do, right? So I'm looking for that HAP protocol, and I know that thing exists in our back office somewhere, or at Live Younger, or YouTube, or wherever. So I'm like trying to track down the HAP protocol video. That's what I want, or even just like a written out thing for that.
Christine, there's an image. I have never seen a video about it or anything written out, but there are 2 images on Live Younger products.
Okay.
And even though I created it in this moment, I can't quite remember where it is, but it's
I know exactly where it
posting it
is,
now.
Judy, because I posted.
patching protocols. Is that it, Robin?
Yes, that's it. And Ravel's putting the link up. And I do want to say there is a video from Dr. Nicholas, and I think I'd like to have it go up maybe on Live Younger Products. And it was just when he went and used it with someone that had a stroke and someone that had, a few other things. And it's just really powerful. It's
Mm.
not so much how to do it, but the before and after. It's a short video, and I think that would be really helpful. But yes, this is exactly what this is for, asking those kind of questions, because you asking is going to help lots of other people. If someone's had any kind of neurologically based illness, if they've had, mental imbalances, all kinds of things, migraine, serious headaches, I'll say. It's amazing what's possible. So thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that.
Yes,
Thank
and
you for
and
helping me out.
And because you brought it up, Christine, Robin answered, and now there's a video. So send me the link for the video and I'll have it up on Live Younger Products.
Thank you.
Yay,
I'd like
Judy.
to ask a question, but I don't know how to raise my hand. Is Pastor Frank here?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Go ahead.
How much time should one commit to MLN on a daily basis to see success? Just to that LifeWave product?
Well, personally, I don't think it's a matter of time. I think it's a matter of how many people you reach out and contact with each day.
Well, the way my life is structured, it is definitely a matter of time. So maybe you're a lady of leisure. I'm not that. So
no,
I'm
no. I'm
asking a
I would
question
say-
based on time.
Yes.
Based on a person that lives a regimented life, a structured life. How much
Yes.
time should one commit, minimal and maximum, just to try and see a successful business begin to even take root and stem and grow?
Well, some people can contact one person and have it done in 5 minutes. Another person will take an hour talking to the person. So it really, you can do it in a really short amount of time. And you can, I was really busy once when I built a business, and I'd find 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there, and 5 minutes there. And I was just like, it just worked like a charm. I think network marketing is a business I always used to say you carry in your back pocket, except we don't want to carry our patches in our back pocket anymore. And at the very minimum, do an hour and break it up into 3 20-minute segments, 20 minutes learning about network marketing, listening to videos, you deciding which one you like, filling yourself up, reading about network marketing. And that can include exercising, and another 20 minutes you can spend on reaching out to people. If you have that, you can do it.
You look familiar. He said, hey, ain't you? He called me by my nickname, Lad. Ain't you?
Yeah, so get creative on how you use little bits of time. You'll be amazed. But the success comes down to how many people you contact per day. In my experience, if you contact one person a month, it's going to be a slow business, even if you spend 2 hours with one person.
And
I'm aware of our time again, and we still have Eva and Carl. I hope.
Yeah, and Pastor, I didn't mean to mute you. There was someone else making a lot of noise. I think I muted you by accident. So just so you know, I wasn't cutting you off.
And I want to add to what Judy said. It's not about the time, it's about the quality of the time. If you're spending a lot of time watching and listening to David, that's wonderful. That builds your belief. It's not an income producing activity. So having the discernment and distinction of how you spend your time. And if you have very little time, you need to stay very focused on income producing activities. And it's the quality of the people you reach out to. Like we say, your best prospects are not in the unemployment line. Your best prospects are with the busiest, most influential people that have already had success. And so it's really important, not how much time, but what you do with that time, and to really be clear on what are the activities that are income producing, which Judy said, you're reaching out to people, you're following up, you're doing 3-way calls. Those are income producing activities. Hanging out on the website and learning everything is wonderful. But if you don't have surplus time, you're building the business in the nooks and crannies of your life. You want to make sure that every nook is an income producing activity.
And speaking about time, we have 4 minutes left and 4 hands up. So we're going to have to be brief because we want to stop pretty close to the top of the hour.
Oh, good.
Gregory, this is Liz, and I have one more short comment on that. It's not how much time is it going to take, it's how much time do you have to to work the business. Then you figure out from that amount of time exactly what Robin said.
Mm-hmm.
Over to you, Eva. And then
Good
we'll
morning,
finish.
everybody.
then we'll-
Make
then
this
we'll
really
finish.
short. So when you're with somebody and you can just, they're totally into the product, and then they get to the part where like, well, then they always ask, well, is this, and the word they use, a pyramid. So I would like to have a short, educated description, or even a video that you can share where it's just, you can educate them on the difference between what a pyramid is and what network marketing is, and to have them, I'm sure they've had a negative experience. So just to move them in the right direction and the proper wording, or if there's a video out there that I could take notes from, that would be great.
Carl, you're the next hand up. Why don't you answer that? Then you can ask your question.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've encountered that many times, and I'd say take a look at the corporate world and tell me where the real pyramid is. How many CEOs are at the top? How many presidents? I said we are an inverted pyramid because there's room for umpteen senior presidential directors at the top. I like to say there's room for everyone at the top. So that's a very short answer, but we could dive deeper into that one. Two of topics that we just touched on briefly, and I'm going to be very quick here, is the issue of people stepping away and then coming back. I can tell you that maintaining that relationship with that person is critical to everything. We had one guy, he had his letter ready to go to Lifeway. He says, I'm out. We can't get our products in Canada. Even though I had this great testimony, I just can't wait any longer. He made manager a few weeks ago. Now he's going for director, and he told me I'm after senior director. So talk about resurgence and the new wind that came into his sail. So that is critical. And I kept relationship with him because we're friends. To the other point about people wanting to come in that are cross-lined, we found a way to do it. And I think it's like an adoption. We checked with the parent and said, is it okay if they come to our group? And I knew their sponsor. And of course, they just were looking for a place to come to in a physical way. And we have them there, and they participate in every facet of every event. And they're still in the other person's upline, but we have adopted them, and they're wonderful to have in our group. So I think there's a good way to do it. But if you really want to do it, if someone's wanting to make that change, they got a long road to hoe because they're out of Lifeway for 6 months to do it. And that's not something people want to do. So a good way to adopt it, check with the sponsors. Say, hey, let's do a 3-way with your upline. How do they feel about it? And then welcome them in. So good opportunities here. Great topic. Love the 30 minutes that we're doing here.
Absolutely loved that. Totally love that idea. Can I say something?
Yeah, go right ahead, Christine. Your hand was your last one up, so go ahead, please.
I didn't really want to defect from my my position of where I was, and people were like and trying to entice me to all that, because basically the person who's above me is not going to be interested. Neither does he have any time. He is not going to be there, and I am very clear about that. But I do like, and he said it over and over. Okay, so I am basically you know, just reaching out to people, just basically for like, I think this meeting is like perfect because I got to ask my question. So it was just,
Great.
thank you. Yeah.
That's great. And Christine, I just want to remind you that if you call customer service, they'll tell you who your upline is. And there's directors, there's senior directors, there's presidential, there's senior president. You have a string just because a person has sponsored you. We call it the disappearing sponsor syndrome. And it happens to a lot of people. Okay. And just because your sponsor's gone, your upline's not. So feel free to reach out to those, people in your
Okay.
upline and develop a
Yeah.
relationship.
And there is one person in my upline who I do have a relationship with, so I'm really happy about that. But I wouldn't mind having more than one relationship.
Just
Thank
find
you.
out, try and trace your tree up 5 or 10 levels and see, oh my God, I'm in their group. I'm in their group. You'll find that, there's a lot of really talented people in your line of sponsorship that have a vested interest in your success and will love to get an occasional call from you.
Great. Thank you so much.
That's
Appreciate
great, Christine.
that.
Gregory, I
Well-
want to commend you on your brilliant idea to create this Q&A following our biz chat. Yet another stellar idea that, thank you.
You know, and it was a divine inspiration. You know, we all can take lessons from David. You know, when you reach a challenge, stop, slow down, be quiet, offer a humble prayer. And my prayer is, you know, for this year, and my word, you know, I finally figured out my word is communication. How can we better communicate and support each other? And so we're doing that here. So thank you, Judy, you know, and Carl and Ravel and Robin and everyone, you know, gets
We're learning from each other.
to contribute in this kind of open forum environment that we're going to have every Thursday morning.
And we get to see all the different styles. You know, there's no
That's right.
one style
That's
for doing
right.
this business. And we want to thank Anne Murrow for offering.
And between now and next Thursday, we have the business chat. If you have questions like, where's the hat protocol? Perfect place to put it. Perfect. Go for it.
Check
'Cause
it
that's-
out.
And people love to help. Our community loves to help. Yeah.
Okay. Happy
that's
Thursday.
part of our
Happy
business.
February.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Great call.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks, Judy. Thanks, Gregory.
Great
Happy
call. Thank you so
February.
much.
Thank you all.
Good call.
Thank
you
so
Thanks,
much.
Carl.
Carl, thanks, Ravel.
helpful.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank you,
Everyone.
Judy, Carl,
Great
Ravel.
call,
Thank
guys.
you.
everyone. Enjoy your day.
Have a good X39 day.
Hey, Karen,
Safe,
another
y'all.
director on the line.
Love and light.
Come on, Karen.
Keep on patching.
Right on. Bye, everyone.
Karen
Bye-bye.
Robinson.
Bye-bye.